Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Caccera, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Caccera.
Welcome in. This is Joe Caccera with Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. As we continue through the week, the partners are back together as we are on Fridays. Happy to have Bobbi and Buddy back in studio. Good to have you guys back. Aloha.
Aloha.
It's great to be back.
Hey, we didn't do any direct shows from Maui this year.
No, I was
Shame
surprised, but I tell you, good for you guys to take the time to relax and kind of decompress. You guys needed it.
We did.
Yep.
2016 was challenging, as we like to say.
Challenging year.
So they are back, energized, ready to go. We have a series of different shows for you. Just before we get started, just a reminder, with you 5 days a week, be sure to tune in. Download the podcast. You could do that at reradiolive.com or go to iTunes. And as a reminder, if you need any real estate needs, anything at all, buying, selling, consultation, Bobbi is here to help you with that. Two ways you could reach out. One is Bobbi at bobbidecker.com, or you could text or call her at area code 650-346-5352. On the financing side, we team up and we'll take care of you on both sides. So if you need any financing on a purchase, refinances, you could reach out to me, 408-838-9060, or you could always email joe at reradiolive.com. All right, the topic today, buyer statistics from the California Association of Realtors. So this is good stuff. As most of you know, if you've been following the show, we love to give you detailed information. The program is really, we're going to provide you some buyer statistics, easy for me to say, and what things to look for in our fair state. So, Bobbi, what do we got? What are we going to get started with?
Well, you know, there's so much to this survey, and I love surveys, Joe, because it kind of gives you a handle on what's going on. Mm-hmm. And we're going to look at the high points, because if you get bogged down, I was actually teaching a class the other day, and they were talking about data and statistics versus knowledge. And, you know, it's putting data and statistics together and thinking about it and thinking about what it's causing that gives you the knowledge. Mm-hmm. Ain't that a good plan?
That sounds particularly brilliant, in fact.
Knowledge is power, right?
Knowledge is power, but a lot of people take data points and don't try to integrate them, and that'll get them into a little bit of trouble. So let me look at the big picture, something that we all know. After the Great Recession, things picked up briskly, and movers and shaker investors jumped into the markets in 2016, and it's been on a tear ever since. And I got to tell you something, Joe. Everybody said at the end of 2016, because it looked like it's slowing down, that we were going to fall off a cliff in 2017. Do you remember? All the pundits?
Yeah, I do.
It's not going to work. The interest rates are going to go up. Joe will never do another loan. You'll never sell another house.
And we'll have a drought.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. Listeners, listen in. There are 3 data points, and if you really research them, none of them came true. I got to tell you, I had an opportunity to try to write an offer while we were in Maui, Joe, and 22 disclosure packages, 11 offers, and what was listed at $1,016,250 sold for $2,017,017. All cash, 10-day close.
What location?
Redwood City.
Wow.
Next to a really fabulous school.
And it was listed at what price?
$162,550.
And it went for 2.
And it went a little over 2. $2,017,017.
So was that a situation where, I don't want to get off track, but was that a situation, it's good to learn this with these people out there getting ready to buy, that they know what the market they're up against. Was that simply priced low on purpose to drive that, or is that just the function of the market at this point?
Actually, it was a flipper, and he stayed with the tone of the neighborhood, but there were no houses out on the market for like 2 months, all of December and then January, portion of January. And so when he came on, there was thirst for the house because it looked great, and then the school system was knockout.
Yeah.
So really, really, don't think because it's jumping up a little bit that as long as the inventory stays skinny, this is going to continue.
Wow. Great example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but let's get into some of that data. I'm going to start to give you some of the facts from this report. The bank-owned and short sales are under 10%. That's pretty logical. They all got bought
sense.
up.
Yep.
And all those people that went and bought all those houses back in 2013 and 14 are very happy campers today, I must say, all those investors, and anyone that did, actually. The latest data shows something interesting. Second homes and vacation homes picked up, particularly last year in 2016, 2015. Kind of interesting because that market has been a very soft spot for a long time. And, in fact, we were trying to communicate to our audiences that it was a time to buy. And this still may be a time to buy because a lot of those kinds of properties are underpriced. But all across California, the stats said that 28% of the homes sold for over asking. I have to tell you, in our neighborhood, that's probably a very low percentage.
Well, that's all within California, right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, that's the whole of California.
Right.
So the Bay Area is probably much closer to 80%
I would agree.
over
It
asking.
is. The only people who are disappointed are the ones that got greedy on their pricing to go out to market.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some big townhouses and things like that sit, and it's because they're trying to grasp too much. They're going, this one sold for $1.2 million, so I'm going to go out at $1.250, $1.275. Same square footage, Joe. Maybe not even as nice, but they just think because one closed at that, they can tack on some.
Right.
Okay, Joe. So where are they buying? What's kind of the home du jour,
if you will. Yeah, let's get a quick rundown. So suburban homes, 40%, and urban is at approximately 34%. Walking distance to shopping, restaurants, as we all know, entertainment, that is a big popular draw, 28%. Walking to the supermarket, 26, and then close to transportation, 26, and then we round it up with rural is at 15. Those numbers, I would think, aren't we going overall to, it seems like more to kind of a walk to town out in the middle of get all your space. Now it seems like everybody wants to be closer to town, doesn't it?
Afraid to ask.
It's a land of love and convenience. We love convenience. Walk, the better off we are, the happier we are.
And we're sick of gridlock. We're sick of sitting in traffic. I mean, it took a while to get here for the program today, and I know that if I don't have to get in my car, I am. So you're stuck. No, I can't. I had to drive. So with the facts, where did the bottom market stuff, or close to supermarket, et cetera, most were already homeowners, 47%. Renters was the next, living with their parents and decided to buy 12%. And they don't add and others. You got to throw it in there as a percent. But I do have to tell you that the convenience of it really, really matters a lot to clients that I deal with because they're older, Joe. Yeah. And getting behind a car is a scary deal now. Right. But in a car where the guy went up and over the breakdown lane shoulder to squeeze out a Mack truck. Yeah. Not another car.
Yeah, it was. They could have touched wheels and mirrors. They were.
Well, I think that again along the same line, we're living here in the heart of Silicon Valley. There's a startup company I just read about, very interesting. The Uber approach, but specifically for elderly or people that don't want to own a car anymore and that want a more personalized service is kind of interesting. So you get to know your driver. So the driver may have 6 or 7 accounts, and every Wednesday they take to the grocery store, every Thursday or once a month to the hairdresser, to different events. So there's this regular schedule, and as we talk about this, the convenience, not having a car, not wanting to get a car, deal with it. There's so much time wasted in a car. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. All these things are going to play into this.
So more and more things are opening up.
Right.
We've been using BART, and now BART's had a lot of delays on us, but we've been using BART to go out and do Christmas shopping in San Francisco because it's $60 to park your car and not move it till you decide to go home.
There you go.
So I've also heard from people in the complex that Uber is a great way to go. Yeah. Have not established the price, but they say they'll pick you up there and take you exactly where you want to go.
It's good. Thinking. All right. So when the buyers are really ready and they're ready to spend between 15 to 20 days before contacting an agent, of course, they start those searches online as they always do. Longest time, and historically speaking, as far as into this decade goes. Mm-hmm. So some of those 10% want a place to live. By the way, I need a place to. I think I'll go buy a home. Desiring a large. That's 14%, by the way, and then desire percent. Change jobs, 11%, and better area, 8.4%.
We should jump in on those rent versus buy. You're that finance guy here. Tell them why renting.
It just, Bobby, when you went over the statistics right before me, and I'm looking again. The renters are the next highest number at 39. So nearly 4 out of 10 were renters, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And I'd like to see that number go up. If you could we've talked to a 1-bedroom condo. We've had that conversation before. Do it. Mm-hmm. Tax mm-hmm. advantages.
Wealth.
And don't give me this, I'm going to give you the parental advice. Don't buy.
The perfect
buy for
price.
The first time, right?
Perfect price.
You do. That you're, exactly. But can't check all the boxes.
No.
You can't do it with a mate, but with a home.
All right.
Careful, we're treading
Before we get into the dating service, we're going to take a quick break. Today we're talking about...
Are we coming back as Dating 101?
We're coming with statistics from the California Association of Realtors. So here with Bobbi and Buddy. I'll be back with you in just a minute.
For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com.
Are you and your lifestyle fulfilled by the properties that you own? Do you need to rethink or look at different options, perhaps even in different places on the globe? Either locally or globally, you need competencies and commitments to achieve your goals most effectively. Bobbi Decker, working with her teammates in Sotheby's International Realty, with over 750 offices in 52 countries and territories, can help. Even here in the San Francisco Bay Area, if a property isn't what she or her team believes they can effectively market, they will find a high-quality Sotheby's agent that has the right expertise. For more information or assistance, contact Bobbi at 650-346-5352. Visit her website at www.bobbidecker.com or email bobbi.decker@sotheby'srealty.com. That's bobbi.decker@sotheby'srealty.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's topic or guests, just visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Again, your host for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series, as we continue and wrap up the week, sitting here alongside Bobbi and Buddy back from Hawaii, trying to get them re-engaged and back to work. Here we go.
Listen, we were shot out of a gun last Monday.
Did it take you long?
I got to tell you, Joe, though, that it was delayed again. Remember, they're always delayed coming. Oh, yeah. I don't know why. It's the wind. In this particular case, it was the storm.
Okay.
And we rode that storm, wahoo, all the way from Maui to San Francisco when we finally got on the plane. It was a bumpy ride. But we got to see the Super Bowl.
Oh, nice.
And what a great ending to be able to sit and watch.
Huh? Yeah.
Fantastic. But I've got something for you with this podcast. I have got, what do you think about fake news? Come on, give me a fake headline, Joe.
Fake headline. Let's see. Rates just dropped to 2%. I'm somehow going to get sued on that. Joe, you told me it was.
That's right. They don't listen. I'm telling you, people are not in the listening.
That is fake news, ladies and gentlemen.
Fake news.
Fake news. But I have the other fake news. Prices in Silicon Valley are going down rapidly.
Wow.
Whoa. No, don't sue me either.
Remember, everyone, we just said this is fake news. And here's another big fake news that I hear from and get emails on all the time. Because the interest rates are going to jump sky high, and because there's going to be a glut of properties, I can name my price when I go out to the market in another month. That's fake news. That's not going to happen by March. I promise you. There is such a scarcity of good properties. Now, there's some junk coming on the market, guys, and if you're a real handyman and you're married to a contractor, what a great opportunity you're going to have, because those prices are going to have some give to them. But otherwise, we have no inventory, Joe. We haven't built enough.
Well, I have ultimate, before Buddy continues, I have the ultimate fake news.
Okay.
I just thought of as we're talking.
Okay.
And it is, don't worry about getting pre-approved, because it's easy when you get out there to find a home, the perfect home, and you don't need to worry about it.
We are so messing with these people. They're going to go and talk to their agents, and we're going to get hate mail, Joe. But the truth is,
it's called shock value.
It is shock value. Shock 2.0. Okay, I have to ask you this, and seriously, I'm asking you because we've been gone 3 weeks. If they were pre-approved in December, what should they do now in February, Joe?
Well, make sure, check with your lender if they're responsible, they're keeping you updated, because they should have updated documentation, pay stubs, bank statements, those types of things. The other thing, good question, Bobby. There's a lot of times when people are pre-approved, but it takes months and months before they find a home. They will do things that they're not supposed to because their lender's not keeping it up to date. I'll go buy some furniture and charge it, or I'll buy a car. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Really? I can't do that? So, good question. Be sure, really, every 30 days to check in with your lender. Your lender should, and say, how are things going? Anything change in your job? Anything change in assets, liabilities, income? Really a tune-up and a checkup every 30 days.
That's such great advice. That is not fake news. That is what you need to do. Okay, so here's the good news, that 85% of the buyers said their home was worth the price, whatever they paid for it. But that's because you don't want to admit you overpaid, right? Rather startling fact is that buyers plan to keep their homes longer. Actually, they say about 20 years, but the average has been 7 to 8. What do you think about that, Joe?
That seems about right. I mean, you know what's funny? There's a reason why, and I go through this with people all the time. The average in the Bay Area, that does, it's 7 to 8 years. I think people, their intentions are always to keep it long term, or they'll tell you, I don't know, it could be 10 plus years. But one of my questions always back to people is, when's the last time you held on a loan for 30 years? I've never had a person say, guess what? I just finished out my 30-year loan, and it was wonderful. It just doesn't happen. I mean, I understand the security, the sense of security. Certainly when they're at all-time lows, I would encourage people to do that. But also, you should be financially wise, and that's part of our job, educating people that if the reality is you're going to do a move up in 5, 6, 7 years, you should consider some of these ARMs and save some money potentially.
Yeah, so that might be the right answer. Everybody perceives that it's going to be 20 years, but the reality of 7 to 8 years is what really happens. Yeah.
Or the neighbor that moves in with 6 trucks. And you suddenly say, I cannot continue to live here. So many things happen, and I don't think that the younger buyers understand that how things can shift and how quickly they can shift.
Yeah, I want to finish up a little bit of this that I think is very, very important. 71% of all the Californians surveyed think prices are going to be rising over the next 5 years. To Bobby's point earlier, even on the fake news, they're not probably going to go down, ladies and gentlemen. But let's take a look how the buyers went out and found these properties. 55% found them with an agent. So guess what? Having the right agent, understanding what your needs are and where you want to go and how you can go there, and having the right financial information from Joe is a real critical, shall we say,
hub.
In the
wheel. Spoke in the wheel.
Spoke in the wheel. The key players in your game should be Joe and Bobby. Oh, I'm
that's
sorry.
Right.
That was a commercial. I apologize.
And that's real news, by the way.
Okay. Then people find properties on the web, of course, and we know that's one of the big things here. But that still can be part of the agent scenario. They may have found a property, but they'll use the agent to go get it. The for sale sign actually still works, and open house is actually still work. A lot of people try and poo-poo those things, but they still play. They still play effectively.
All right. So let's get into some of the rankings, some of the most useful websites. As we know, I know the statistics nationally are 92 to 93% of people start their search online. But let's break that down a little. We're talking about California. Zillow was number one, 33%. Most useful website. Zillow, that doesn't surprise us too much. Mm-mm. Next, Realtor.com at 17%. And Redfin, 12%. Agent site. So I'm assuming that's like a cross.
Right, we like Bobby Decker.
Got it. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. And then Trulia is number 5 at 10%. Now they just merged recently. Right. So you wonder if those statistics are. Yeah, there was Zillow now.
And I have to please caution you as buyers, listen to your realtor. If you've got a good realtor on your side, listen to your realtor because Zillow and Redfin, they don't get comps, the sold comps.
No.
Okay, so if they give you a Zestimate, I love that word, Zestimate. I got an Zestimate. Take it as a grain of salt because they haven't seen the interior.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're looking at a melting pot of values in a certain area. And Realtor.com does used solds. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying, if you want to see something that is very, very accurate, Realtor.com is one of the best. And I'm not saying that because I'm a realtor. I'm saying that because it integrates real-time information, whereas the others do scraping. And the difference is huge. Well, look at the second home I've got up there in Twainart, that second home. They call it a floating house.
Because of rain, or?
It is not floating.
They have a yurt on the lake. It's not the main house.
Right. It's got 3 yurts. One's in a tree. They could have called it a tree house, I suppose, but they picked up on being a floating house. So I took a lot to get that squared away.
Okay, well, Joe, we started on it, but that pre-approval, all this information that we're providing is about buyers and what they've been doing. The reality of it is, if they don't do it starting with you to understand what they can afford, don't bother. I mean, you can waste a lot of time and energy if you don't really know what you can afford. So scream out that pre-approval scenario.
I just did a video on this on my weekly videos last week. This is so important, the difference. Explain the difference real quickly on a pre-approval versus being pre-qualified. So if someone tells you pre-qualified is fine, that is not true. Red flag goes up. Reach out. Make sure if you're working with a good realtor like Bobbi will vet that out, and she'll tell you right up front there's no pre-qualification. It's a true pre-approval. And it's an underwritten approval. And approval is when we look at all your documents and view your documents and do a preliminary underwrite. We literally physically put those documents in front of a qualified underwriter. They look at income, assets, documentation, and we come up with a decision of approve or not, or if there's issues. And that is a true pre-approval, and there is nothing that is a substitute for that. No. I know a lot of people will say it, oh, don't worry, my guy says this or my gal says this. It's just, seriously, it's nonsense. Don't put at risk one of the most important purchases you have, and Bobbi sees this, you guys see this. You get to the point where you find the home that you really love. You go through the process. Bobbi gets you into contract, and then you say, oops, or I didn't know, or what happened, or my down payment, or my credit. Don't let that happen. Don't let it happen.
No.
Step number 1, pre-approval.
That's it. And then find a you do not need to be experimenting with the market with an agent that doesn't know what they're doing. Right. So get yourself an agent that has invested in time and money into credentials. I know we got the CIPS, the Certified International Property Specialist. So if you want to be buying property offshore, I can refer people to that type of specialist. You've got your SRES, which is the seniors, Joe. There's a pattern that you need to use when you're trying to go from your home into assisted living or downsizing. You don't just sell the house and live in a tent. You've got your accredited buyer's representative. You want to know what you need to do and how they're going to represent you. Look for the people who invest in their business.
Yep.
This is not a part-time job.
The true professionals.
Absolutely. And with Sotheby's, we can, refer you all the way around the world.
It's global. The last thing I'll say, too, which goes right along with Bobbi, I'll piggyback, is that the statistic that's alarming to me that consumers really should know is that you guys will probably correct me if around 8% of all realtors do 90-some% of the business.
That's correct.
So Bobbi's in that 8%. So the reason I bring this up is that there's a reason why 90+% of real estate agents don't do the majority of business. It's because not bad people, it has nothing to do with it. It's a business decision you need to make. Who are you hiring to do the job? That's really the message I want to get out.
Absolutely. Both on the finance and the search.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. We will be back with you next Friday. Until then, take care.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at reradiolive.com.